Thanksgiving is my favorite holiday, and unfortunately this year we are not going home to see any family. But my sister is coming down to visit the baby and to help me with a special project for 28 hours. So I thought I would make it kind of special and treat her with one of our childhood favorite side dishes / dessert mashed up together. I'm gonna be making for her a sweet potato casserole pie. Thank you so much to Diamond of California for sponsoring this video. So growing up, I was always in charge of making certain side dishes, and the sweet potato casserole was my signature. And since I don't have a lot of time, I'm using store-bought nut crust. This one is by Diamond of California. Diamond of California's new nut pie crusts are the category's very first crust made with tree nuts rather than pressed cookie crumbs. And to be honest, I've tested this recipe before, and the nut crust is so much better than the ready-made dough or cookie crumb crust that you find at the supermarket. And what I love about using the pecan pie crust is that it mimics the pecan that I would put normally on top of a sweet potato casserole. So instead of putting it on top, we're gonna use it as a layer on the bottom. I tucked my shirt in. Mom jams. So I used to see my sister pretty much every week when I was living in the Bay Area, and after I had Aracy, we became pretty close because we bonded over motherhood. But shortly after I had Aracy, we decided to move down to LA, and she's never forgiven me since. But since we have moved down to LA, she'll make a special trip down every, I don't know, few months, maybe every 4 months, to just have a sister day. And I always cherish those moments because they're so few and far in between now, and we just get like one-on-one time undisturbed, and it's so nice. For example, 2 months ago, right before Rolly was born, she came down just to help me prep. She cleaned our room, she prepped the baby's stuff. Like, she was just so helpful with everything. She has 4 kids of her own, so she was like a pro mama. I go to her for everything related to motherhood. Okay, so let's work on our sweet potato. I have one that is about 3/4 of a pound, and that's the perfect size that I need for this recipe to fit perfectly into the pie crust. All we're gonna do is boil it for about 30 to 35 minutes until it's nice and cooked through, soft. I like cutting mine in half so that it cooks a little bit faster. Once the water starts boiling, just drop in the sweet potatoes and see ya in about 35 minutes. Feels pretty soft. I think it's done. So I'm gonna pull them out and let them cool long enough until I'm able to handle them. So our sweet potatoes are done cooking, and as you can see, when you boil the potatoes, it creates almost like this ring barrier. The skin is already starting to separate like this. See, it's so easy to peel. You can just plop the sweet potatoes out super easily, which is what I'm gonna do right now. Just squeeze it out. And if there's any blemishes, like right here, just pick it out. All right, so now I'm just gonna puree the sweet potatoes with my whisk and give it a good mix, mix, mix. This is so that it blends well together with the ingredients later. This reminds me of my baby food making days for Aracy, which I will be revisiting very soon for Rolly. I don't know why I keep calling him Roland. Anyways, to this, I'm just gonna add some brown sugar, melted butter, maple syrup, a pinch of salt, my spices, which I have cinnamon, nutmeg, cloves, and ground ginger, 2 eggs, and half and half. All the exact amounts for this recipe is in the description box below. I'll give it a quick mix until everything is blended. And that's it for our pie filling. Now just scrape the bowl down, making sure everything is well incorporated. So for this recipe, I used a mixture of brown sugar and maple syrup just to give it that like fall aroma to it, but you can certainly use either or. Now we fill our pie crust. All right, let's open up our pie crust. So currently the baking aisle is totally saturated with ready-to-use pie crust, but they contain stuff like corn syrup, GMO-prone ingredients, artificial flavoring, and other processing aids. So Diamond of California is setting out to disrupt that baking aisle by creating these ready-to-use nut pie crusts that contain only 10 ingredients or less, with the brands grown walnuts or pecans as the main ingredient. If you guys want to learn more about Diamond of California's ready-to-use nut pie crust, be sure to check out the link in the description box below where you can find some near you. All right, and now I'm just gonna pour in the filling. Give it a good shake to even everything out. And now into the oven it goes at 350 degrees for about 35 to 40 minutes. So the pie is baking in the oven and it smells incredible. It smells like Thanksgiving, honestly. But I still have 2 of these nut crusts left over. And since nuts are the main ingredients for the pie crust, I can save this for a sweet and this for a savory, like maybe a leftover turkey pot pie. That would be delicious. So our pie is finished baking and I've let it cool completely for about 4 hours. And now, right before serving, I'm gonna add some marshmallows on top. We're gonna add a nice even layer. Just kind of sprinkle it on top and then see where it lands. I like to fill in the gaps later. Yeah, this would totally be a good toddler activity, except I feel like she would eat all of the marshmallows and I would be left with not a ton. She calls these baby mellows. Baby marshmallow. Oh yeah, we're gonna broil this pie for about 5 minutes so you get the marshmallows nice and toasted and you have that gooey, delicious, fluffy layer on top. You guys, I am so excited for this pie. I cannot wait for my sister to try it and get her reaction. I love that the marshmallows are nice and toasted now. They have like this hard layer on top, and then we have our soft sweet potato filling and then our delicious nut pie crust. All right, so this is the moment of truth. I'm gonna cut open our sweet potato pie. I love that when I'm cutting into it, the marshmallow's already kind of crunchy. So growing up, I used to be the one to make the sweet potato casserole, and I found out recently that you don't like sweet potato casserole, but you said mine was good, so I decided to turn it into a pie. Since then I could hit 2 birds with 1 stone. Since we don't get to have Thanksgiving together this year. Cheers. Yeah?
It's good. I like that nutty crust.
Yeah, it's nuts. I didn't use real stuff. It's a pecan nut crust because usually when we do like sweet potato casserole, I'll sprinkle the pecans on top, but because they have these pecan crust already, so I thought it would be cool as a pie. If you guys have never had sweet potato pie before, I almost feel like it's very similar to pumpkin pie except better. It's just, I feel like there's a lot more texture inside, and the flavor is also very subtle. It's like sweet, but it's very balanced. What do you think?
It's good. It's like caramely, but lighter.
Yeah, I guess that's how you would describe it. And then the nut crust doesn't make it feel heavy like a pie either. It's very, I don't know, it's just really good. Hey, this dish could totally double as a dessert and a side dish, right? Because you got your sweet potato casserole and you got your pie. So if you're looking to double down on your Thanksgiving, make this dish. Anyways, thank you so much you guys for watching. Let me know what you think about this sweet potato pie and also a nut crust pie shell, because it's honestly so good. Thank you to Diamond of California for sponsoring this video. I'll see you guys next time. Bye!